Okay, good evening. We're going to call, do we need to call the meeting to order again? And do we need to take roll call again? All right,
So Councilmember Schmidt,
here.
Councilmember Dietrich,
Here.
Councilmember Pointer,
Here.
Councilmember Sherburne,
Here.
Councilmember Gray.
Here.
All right, welcome back. Part 2 of our evening meeting. Next, the first thing we have is I need special meeting item is to set the public hearing on proposed budget for the fiscal year of 2026 for April 28th, 2025 at 5 p.m. I'll entertain a motion for that.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any further questions? Bill,
Yes.
Mary Ann?
Yes.
Linda?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
And Joe?
Yes.
Next, I need a resolution to adopt resolution 33, motion to adopt resolution 33, amending the salary and approving an officer reimbursement agreement. We have Braden Ellis here as our new police officer. You want to stand up and say hi to everybody? And
Podium's right there.
podium's right there. You can introduce yourself.
The hot spot.
The hot spot, yes.
Well, hey, everybody, my name is Braden. I'm very excited to work for this department and moving closer to home. I worked at Coralville Police Department for 2 years after I got out of the Marine Corps and looking at hopefully moving here, so
Okay,
very excited.
awesome. Well, welcome. Okay, with that, I need a motion to adopt, or excuse me, motion to adopt the, resolution approving the officer reimbursement agreement.
I move to adopt the resolution.
Linda and Joe?
I'll second it.
Okay.
Slow today.
That's right. Linda,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
and Mary Ann.
Yes.
Okay, and then before we go on to the next item, I'm gonna go ahead and get him sworn in, if that's okay with everybody?
Yes.
No? All right, if you want to just join me over here, Braden. Ready for this?
I am.
Okay, I need you to just raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Braden Ellis,
I, Braden Ellis,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and that of the state of Iowa,
and that of the state of Iowa,
and that to the best of my knowledge
and that to the best of my knowledge
and ability,
and ability,
I will perform the duties of police officer
I will perform the duties of police officer,
of the said city of Manchester, Iowa.
Said City of Manchester.
Congratulations.
Oh, I need the left hand, Tommy. Pardon?
You wanted to?
Let's bring that up.
Yeah. Emily.
Emily.
Kelly, I'm not, they want your picture.
Oh, they look like a picture.
All right. That is for
No
you.
flash, probably.
All right. So I'll let you guys take a picture together first. and then-
Yeah, real. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Like a mugshot.
Is
All right, and then we'll do one with us.
Connie.
What?
Is that mom and dad?
Is that mom and dad?
No, you're not mom and dad?
Okay, all right.
Hey, that's great.
We're close.
Well, you want a picture with him too? Would you like a picture with him too? Okay, we can do that, absolutely.
You're back.
Absolutely. You want us to take a picture with your phone?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. We're back here.
This is why we don't. She's in the right spot. She's done.
All right.
Thank you. All right, now, please, Chief and Mayor,
All right.
get back in there.
Gotta go back.
You can be right beside.
Are you as excited about the picture now?
Ready? All right.
All right, congratulations. Yeah, we'll see you later. Congratulations. Oh, here, you can keep this. Braden, you can keep this.
She's always.
Read his first ticket with that.
Oh,
That might be better. Congratulations. Hey, welcome aboard.
next time you find a officer candidate, can be military environment.
Okay, every branch of the service is special.
Thank you, Connie.
Well, they are, they're all special. Okay. All right. And needed. All right. Next, we are going to move on to our committee as a whole agenda. We're gonna have a discussion on cleanup day and garbage stickers with Pleasner Sanitation.
That's good.
Thank you for coming.
So. We were proposing for a cleanup for the town inside of Manchester. To kind of have it at our transfer station, be open to all residents of Manchester. To be able to bring a pickup load out to our transfer station.
Oh, nice.
And then just have the city cover the cost of the landfill, the tipping fee, $65 a ton. We hang signs, you know, to direct all the residents from Manchester out to our transfer station, and we'd have extra staff on board just to help verify everyone that comes in is a city resident. And any contractor or customer that's not through the city, you know, we'd still service them, but just keep their trash on a separate pile. Yes.
Right. Separate.
Yeah, keep it separate so we can still take care of our contractors and then handle the city. Just wanna make sure we had like the same guidelines and we were all clear on the rules. I'd say we keep it the same as just any other cleanup. So like acceptable items would be furniture, you know, bed springs, mattresses, kitchen tables, bathroom fixtures like toilets and sinks, outdoor patio furniture. We wouldn't take TVs or appliances, tires, like we want to take that for free. Whoever brought that out would have to pay a separate charge for that. We wouldn't, you know, bill the city for that. And then unacceptable items would be remodeling and building material. If anyone's remodeling, any hazardous waste, chemicals, paint, oil, yard waste, the stuff we wouldn't take at any other cleanup day.
Is the solid waste commission doing another one of those dates?
Yeah.
We will.
Well, we will this fall. That's what we've kind of moved to, is doing them in the fall now.
Not the summer or the spring,
No.
just in the fall, okay.
That'll be probably electronic and hazardous waste again,
Yeah.
household, anything there.
So appliances are the things that are getting hard to get rid of then, basically.
Yeah.
And they'll take them, but for an extra fee.
We'll
Which is
take
good, yeah.
For a charge and, you know, there's guys around that pick up appliances, love to pick up appliances for free for the scrap metal.
Mhm. Okay,
Do you have an estimate of how many tons you see on cleanup day for a city our size?
A city your size, when we pick door to door, we've gotten up to 20 ton. And that was out of Dyersville,
Another 20 ton?
only 20 ton, that was going door to door, so I would say it would be less than that.
Okay.
You know, we're having people, so we were thinking like setting a limit on people, so we wanna have 4 or 5 residents. You know, bring in the 20 ton.
Yeah.
We didn't know if you wanted that to be a limit of 1 pickup truck per resident. Or 2 pickup trucks, you know, whatever the city want, we were thinking 1 pickup truck would be sufficient for most.
That's right. You would police that, like, yeah, buddy.
Well, there are gonna be ways to work around it, but I just wanna make sure we have a way to control, monitor. Yeah,
you have some guardrails.
so I mean, you and 4 guys have different pickups, 4 different pickups. There's nothing you can do about it. Nothing you can do about it, but at least we have control. So-
Well, they'd have to have a driver's license.
Yeah, I was gonna say-
Manchester.
I think that'd be the easiest way to check the driver's license and just make sure they're a resident of Manchester. You know, and you would know, you know, depending on how many people, you would know if someone came in more than once.
And if somebody had extra that day, we would take care of the one, but then they could bring another load out. if they
Yeah.
had- Right?
If they had a whole garage to clean out, you know, and had 4 loads to get rid of. The first one would be free.
It would get more people exposed to the transfer station, I think, and familiar with where it's at.
Yeah,
What do we do about those that don't have a pickup truck? That still need to get rid of stuff?
Call Joe Dietrich.
No, we're not. Busy enough as it is.
I think that is a problem, but people have connections with other people that help them out. We can't solve everything for everybody, even if we have curbside pickup, you're gonna have issues with people being able to get it out to the curb and stuff like that.
And I suppose even with you guys, with Kleesner's, somebody is older family, they probably could have a dumpster delivered, there'd be a cost, but,
yeah,
you know,
and so we offer all the services, dumpsters roll off, at a cost, but just trying to do something for the city in general, this would be a very simple, effective way to reach out to most of them. We talked about, we don't really want to promote, asking the Boy Scouts to volunteer their time, or maybe even the West Delaware Athletics Club. But I feel like if people reach out to the city and ask that question, like, hey, I don't have a pickup truck, is there anything I could do? You could almost steer them towards those organizations and say, they can pick it up and haul it to the transfer station for a donation. I'm sure people would be willing to donate to those clubs if they can get rid of their trash for free.
If those clubs are willing to do them.
Yeah, if those clubs are willing to do that.
Again, you risk damaging someone's vehicle.
And so we didn't want to promote it through Kleesner's.
People can be somewhat, creative for how they haul stuff. I've seen them do that to the wood dump, going past, with what they're hauling stuff in, so people are creative. If they want to get it out of there, they'll do it.
And that's limited to, are we gonna limit it to a truck, or what if somebody's got a trailer?
That's up to the council.
Council has to make that determination.
Cause that's kind of a big difference.
A truck and trailer, I mean, that's up.
Well, you could say the length of the trailer.
We just had a customer and they just had a pickup truck at the small single axle trailer, if it's lower to the ground, it's easy to load. They got a couch, 4 mattresses on there and a dresser. I wouldn't, I don't know if you get a dump trailer, then you can start getting people cleaning out a lot of things, and it's harder to see and monitor what comes out of there. So, I suggest pickup truck or even like a single axle trailer, not a, I put make it pretty strict on a single axle trailer, not a 30-foot long gooseneck trailer or something that
Yeah.
people could.
I can pack quite a bit in that 14-foot dump trailer.
so we don't want that.
I've made my fair share. of
Single
trips out there.
axle.
Well, at any point, you can pack that in there and do it on your own without the city.
Oh, yeah,
having
yeah,
part
and
of
that's
the
what I
cost.
do.
Yeah. So I think that's part of what, we talked about as the council last year, is trying to figure out some way to provide some sort of cleanup.
Right.
And we worked on doing the stickers, but the stickers weren't quite worded the way we liked it.
But I think we're close on
I was
that.
gonna say, we sent different verbiage.
Yeah,
So we, hopefully,
yeah, but he's been gone, so I don't.
okay.
We would run this in the spring, you think?
Yeah,
Opposite of the fall cleanup that is already offered?
We could see how it goes in the spring and maybe offer it twice. We could do it in the
Yeah,
fall too.
see how it goes this year and see what you wanna do next year.
I think the thing is to do it once and then correct our mistakes. So
Yeah,
we
yeah.
have mistakes, because you don't know where your mistakes are gonna be until you've tried things.
Yeah.
So I personally like the idea of using, like you said, either the truck or the single axle truck, because I think some people have that where they don't have the truck. But, I don't know if you wanna make it both, and you pull the trailer with the truck and then you have two, yes,
Yeah, but-
we have to make that decision too.
One's
To me, it would be
free,
one or
and
the other, but
is the charge.
yeah, so one or the other to me would be the way to do it, okay. I like the idea of trying it though, I think that we have to give it a shot, we have to see what happens, and
Yeah.
then we have to be open enough to say, well, that didn't work, we need to change it to this.
Get all the
Next year could
feedback
be different,
from-
or next fall it could be different.
Yeah,
Have you figured out a date yet that you're kind of thinking, or?
we were thinking May 10th, the Saturday, May 10th.
That Mother's Day weekend?
Yes.
Yes.
So that'd be a great present for kids to give their mother, help
Mhm.
for clean up the house.
The last minute Mother's Day present.
Well, let's hope my mom's not watching this meeting.
And then like, would you run it, what hours?
Our normal transportation is open 7 to 11, but I think running it later would be better, maybe 7 to 1 o'clock. That would give them all morning
Yeah,
plenty of time.
And we can help promote that.
Yep, and so we'd like to hang, brochures and flyers around at gas stations, post office.
and we'll put it on our Facebook and see website.
Yeah,
That's 7 to 1, would that be a hard time, like if you got a line outside of the gate and 1 o'clock and going around? You gotta be in the gate or don't work type deal, or?
I'd say by the time 1 o'clock rolled around, it should be pretty much winding down, but if there's still people coming in, stay
Within reason.
until within reason, yeah.
Any other suggestions from the council on this? Otherwise, we propose to bring this back to you Monday night for action. Sounds good.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, I mean, I would have liked to have seen it where we could have picked it up from the curb themselves, but logistical, it just doesn't seem like that's gonna be feasible.
That's,
So,
The town our size is too big,
Yeah.
Talking to a couple
Yeah.
of your drivers, he told when he did Guttenberg, he's like, that's a nightmare. up there."
Yeah.
He said, that's a whole day, we're completely tied up. And sometimes we have to go back, even though they run 2 or 3 trucks, he's like, it's.
Yeah, 4 trucks.
Yeah.
3 or 4
Plus
trucks.
everybody's-
And there's always people setting it
Coming.
out late after you go through.
Right.
Yeah.
And then there's people that, take advantage of it, then we end up with leaving piles.
Mhm.
And then trying to work something out with the city or the resident, sometimes the residents, expect us to take it and we gotta draw the line somewhere. We run into problems like that.
yeah, I think going out there with the truckload is, I mean, the city's paying for the first truckload, I think that's compromise, we're winning.
I have one more question for you real quick, because somebody actually asked me the other day, what about old bicycles, like little kids' bikes, and
That'd be acceptable.
maybe acceptable,
Yeah.
considered like a metal kind of in the sense?
Yeah,
of those?
yeah. And then if we take any metal patio furniture, we got our own scrap barrel that we use, so any of that would be thrown into the scrap barrel and the city wouldn't be paying for that tonnage.
Well, the hope here is once people get accustomed to, you guys are out there, because a lot of people still don't know you're out there. Once they get accustomed to this, that's gonna help.
They can come out anytime whenever they get
Yeah,
new
instead of
furniture or
letting it stack
something instead
up,
of, yeah, letting it stack.
Just not on Sundays,
Yeah, not on
just
Sundays.
not on Sundays.
No.
What is it, just an average pickup load, just so people, like, if they brought out an average pickup load?
Like, the normal charge for an average pickup load is just $20 for the minimum.
Yeah,
Which is very fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I range anywhere from $45 to $70 on a 14-foot dump trailer for tonnage.
Yeah.
When I go out there, and I, at least once a month, so.
that's just good for people to know, small
Right.
pickup load or even whatever, $20.
I try to tell everybody that, just go out there.
Yeah, it's-
Take a whole truckload out there.
You can get rid of a lot of stuff for $20.
So, yeah, is there a way you can kind of write that down or write something up and put that on our city Facebook page or something like that? So people can kind of start knowing that before even May 10th. And then
Yeah.
post it again after May 10th, so they know where it is. Yeah. And
Yeah.
what the cost is, yeah.
So what's the breakdown, before it gets over $20? What's the weight on that?
It's $65 a ton, so I think it's 0.35 ton, right around there.
So you're about 800 pounds. 700 pounds.
They take a lot.
Yeah.
Big truck.
Yeah. Okay, most pickup trucks, we always charge minimum, there's some that are a lot heavier than what they look, but.
Beverly Hillbillies.
Okay. Any other further questions?
I think we can send out something too for like a guideline too, so whenever you do post something on your website or the hang flyer, it will have the guideline, like, this is acceptable, this is, this will be taken at a charge, and this is the limit, just have clear guidelines.
Yeah, they do, for the smaller towns, they do a nice flyer that's
Yeah.
easy to understand for the residents, so.
Would that be something we would put in with the water bill when it goes out?
Not necessarily the water bill, but we would post it on the website, post it on Facebook, so the sooner I can get that, the sooner we can put that out.
And we could always put a note on the utility bill, cleanup day, you know, we're limited to characters, but cleanup day, May 12th, find guidelines at the city website or something like that.
Me too, yeah.
Yeah,
What about the instant alert thing that tells us about park closings and stuff like that, or the
We
aquatic
can,
park thing? That might be a nice reminder to remind people if they're getting
yeah.
interested. Alert system. Do you have any other questions for us?
I don't, I like the idea of advertising before the cleanup day to try and, you know, people
Yeah,
wanna get rid of this stuff sooner than later, start their cleaning sooner. Yeah, the day you guys pay the tonnage, we'll hang directions to get signs out, we'll have extra staff there and we'll just tell everyone we gotta check the driver's license and anything that's in the city limits, you know, it's got a 4 or 5 digit
address
address, a 5-digit address, you know, that's
outside.
outside of city limits. Most everyone should know if they see First Street, Second, you know, First Avenue, that's a city resident. So we can send you guys over some guidelines, you know, so we can spitball ideas back and forth before you guys publish it, but I'm good with. Hey, John,
Me too,
Okay.
it's 7 to
we'll put
1.
that on Monday's agenda just for their formal approval.
okay,
And then I'll also, have the stickers on there.
Oh, okay.
On there for them to review as well, and make sure
yeah,
they like the language and then we can maybe get those printed up.
and then go from there.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
thanks, guys.
Yeah.
See ya.
All right, our next item of discussion is animal control, and I think we kind of.
Yeah,
What's
we-
going on with that?
We broached it at the last committee whole meeting. Our animal control officer is wanting to step away from doing animal control. So we're gonna have to do something different, whether we hire another person to do animal control or we contract the services out. Ben, do you wanna talk about a little bit? You're gonna have to stand up here.
No, about which portions?
Both.
So, I didn't get any other emails. I sent everybody out kind of the estimates of what it looks like per cost. But yeah, as Tim said, more than likely, I think if we do any recommendations, if we want to continue the pound and we want to hire somebody else, I think that we're probably gonna have to hire somebody from outside. I don't think it's to the point now where we can't just assign the duty to another city employee. And there's too much that goes into it. And I think we're just gonna continue to circle the drain and burn another employee out. I want to do that within 2 to 3 years, and then we're gonna be right back here. So, you know, it kind of still stands. I did talk to a couple of the rescues about helping, but again, it's a at need basis. So, you know, I could call tomorrow, they could have a spot for an animal that we pick up. I could call the next day and they could be full. And then we're gonna be right back to, you know, talking about increasing the budget item because we're gonna have to do something with that animal. Whether it be taking it to the vet or inputting it into our pound, any way you wanna shake this tree, the coconut's gonna fall the same way. So, yeah, I think the objectives remain the same as, you know, what do we wanna do as a city? We wanna continue that, and I think that, you know, talking with Tim, I think that we wanna continue, and I think hiring somebody specifically in a part-time capacity, or an on-call capacity for that, but again, even with the state requirements of that, they're gonna have to come in every day to feed, water, clean, and inspections and all the other stuff that goes along with it.
If we hired another employee, that their job primarily was the animal control. For, like, right now, we got 1 dog,
Correct.
so that's not 40 hours of work.
No,
By
I
any
don't.
means. So would we be able to use that employee? Their primary would be the animal control, the secondary would to fill them for a 40-hour work week. If we went that direction, would we have a department? I don't know how you guys are for staffing.
Or just using part of it.
Well, I
Or
think,
would it just
I
be a
think the
part-time?
safest bet for fiscally reasons would be part-time, right? Keep it under the 32 hours a week so that we don't have to pay benefits and we monitor that very closely.
Right,
But again, you know, dog or not, I think there's plenty of work right now, you know, and there is no shortage of animals. I think you're gonna make up a lot of that time for the on-calls, especially after hours,
Yeah.
right, calling out. And then if we hire two, you know, the one thing I didn't put in is the calls for service that would result in other animals that aren't dogs and cats. We would have that specific person that would be able to handle the bats, the raccoons, the other things that we typically handle. We could also find time to fill that for those. We're not having an officer do it, and we're, you know, looking at different workman's comp issues and stuff like that.
The hard part is finding a person who's going to be available. I mean, JJ goes out at all hours and then every day, even weekends, is having to take care of those animals in the pound.
Yeah.
So where, you know, we could just be a temporary stop for an animal.
Or somebody that's in town that has, you know, maybe retired with the extra few hours, right? It's gonna take a specific person, but I think that we could very easily find 32 hours or less a week
Yeah.
for duties that needed.
What's Dyersville, what's Independence, what are those
They-
places doing? Do you know?
They have contracts with the Humane Society, so they might keep them for a day or two, but then they go to the Dubuque, or is it Cedar Bend and
Yeah.
in Waterloo.
I think we're getting in late on that,
Mhm.
where a lot of these other cities have already contracted out, and
Done.
they're not guaranteeing the spots for those anymore, right? So any of those predetermined contracts, we probably should have gotten in on the ground floor when that happened.
My concern is our facility too, because I think we're only an inspection or two away from having to do a complete overhaul on that.
So do they
You know,
capture the
financially.
dogs? Do they capture the animals
No,
first there and
officers.
then they send somebody from,
We would still capture them.
They would still
but
capture,
Independence in those places, they still capture
they
too?
still capture
The
them.
Humane Societies will only manage to pick up
Okay.
or, you know, obtaining the animal should we not identify who it
Gotcha.
is.
Okay.
So we would still be doing all the pickups, still remaining the calls and still using our services to track or locate the animal. It's just they would take it off our hands after hopefully a predetermined amount of time that we wouldn't have to pay fees for anything else.
And with everything else, it's on law enforcement's plate, you know, we may have to say that, you know, it's on, I mean, the back calls, I understand, but. You
Which,
know,
we
I
don't-
don't wanna pull you away from another.
Yeah, and we don't mind doing those. I'm just saying if that was a route we wanted to go and we were concerned about, you know, making that time valuable for another employee or a part-time employee, we could do so. Right, because we do get other calls with other animals that, you know, I'm sure if those guys that don't have to rattle up another skunk or a raccoon, I'm pretty sure they wouldn't hate me for it, so.
Yeah, I mean, with the pound we got, I mean, anybody that's seen it knows that it's no flash store hotel by any means.
No.
So I mean, the cost of what that's gonna cost to repair it at some point in time, the cost of the employee, not knowing what a contracting it out. I mean, there's so many different variables to be able to look at before we can even move any really direction, I feel, but definitely have to move somewhere,
Yes.
so.
We're gonna have to make a decision as to what we wanna do with animal control. Because we do need to, if we're gonna continue in capacity, we need to hire somebody.
Right,
And even if we look at contracting out, we're probably still gonna have to hire somebody for a short period of time to.
While the transition occurs.
how long do we have before this current,
The end of the month.
okay,
So have we reached out to any places yet as far as seeing if there was a place to send them?
Yeah, so like Dubuque said, that they're not really willing to sign a contract right now, to my understanding. They will, if we call them, if they have a spot, they will absolutely
Help us out.
help us out. It's just kind of a,
Mhm,
if they have
mhm.
the manning and the staff to do so.
So that's how it's gonna be every time we get a
Yeah,
new
and the portion is-
place?
Yeah, I mean, within the guidelines, right? So it's not, we pick it up, call the views, come pick them up, but if it's there for, you know, whatever we say 72 hours. Well, I don't know if we have the time to deliver. I don't know.
See, that's the other issue.
They would have to come down. And so we're still, we think 72 hours is a reasonable time. I think that's a good argument for the state code that says, what's a reasonable amount of time before we have to get vaccinated? So, you know, when we're calling, we kind of have to ensure that they're gonna be down here within those 72 hours. But we're still housing them for that time frame. If it's gonna be 48 hours or more to the 72, that they're not be able to come pick it up. I mean, yeah, now we have to discuss, you know, am I sending an officer on duty and taking them away from patrol and responding to calls and you for an hour and back, so 2 hours? Or are we just risking hopefully the 72-hour window to have them come pick them up?
no, another,
When you get into variables.
right, and another variable to throw in is if we take the dog, we don't have records that it's been given shots, we gotta give it shots, you can't pay that money. 72 hours comes and goes, what do we do with the dog or cat or whatever it is? I mean,
And that's one of the challenges we're gonna have to face there, because I'm sure the contract's still not cheap with any rescue leagues, because they need to be paid for some stuff.
Yeah,
they're
they're,
doing.
they're still gonna get money for their services and their time and their travel.
What are your thoughts?
Trying to hire a part-time person.
Okay,
And the sad thing is, it's gonna be 7 days a week.
we may have to fill in, and I know Jason's guys aren't gonna like it, but we can fill in during the week fairly easy. Because we're here and we're staffing it. But, the weekends, you know, we're pulling overtime then on somebody to come in and staff that.
I wonder if we could contract like with that, I have the critter getters card in my desk.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Ron,
like with a third party,
Yeah, it'd be worth talking to him.
you know,
and it was, with anything too, I think if we are going to do that, I think we should also probably revisit job descriptions and duties that come wherein, just to make sure that we are gonna create a new position that receives a bang for the buck.
Right.
So we know what the expectations are, and what responsibilities lie within that.
So the one dog we have now, can it be taken to the humane, Dubuque?
JJ is checking to see if we can do that to some rescue anywhere, anyone that'll, whether it be, what is it,
Heroes Haven.
Here's Haven, Hart, Dubuque Animal Society. He's gonna check with all those to see if we can at least get it going by the time that he's finished.
Is the female? I was petting it the other day when we were out here looking at the sweeper on nothing.
how long have we had our guests now?
2 months.
2 months.
So in between. the-
Nice
the
dog.
two
I mean, it seems nice. Is it,
And that's,
I haven't seen it as aggressive or
it's an
anything.
expensive dog now, because we
Yeah.
have vet fees, we have,
Just saying, people, there's a
Daily
nice
maintenance
dog
fees.
out there that people can take because
yeah,
it just wants to be loved.
staff fees.
do we have any idea how old it is?
I wanna say it's 4 the last time. That's 3 or 4.
It's sad, just thinking, you know, we don't have any other option, but that dog's been sitting.
On the Facebook page?
Have you asked like the newspaper if they would put a picture?
We put some stuff on Facebook. Yeah,
Try
we can try.
some other avenues, because you
Instagram.
might find an older person who's not on Facebook,
Gotcha.
but someone who's reading the newspaper. I mean, if it hasn't worked on Facebook, then try something
Yeah, we'll
else, is what I'm
try.
saying.
Which is unfortunate.
So, you know, the newspaper's pretty good about that kind of thing. KMCH might be good about taking a picture and putting it on there. But I think you have to look at different options. I would put a picture in the library,
Yeah.
any place you can find,
Yeah.
you know, have a picture, a nice picture of the dog taken, and put some pictures up around town. You might be surprised that
Yeah.
somebody will say, we will take this dog.
Yeah, parts
because-
of that stuff, I can never create a next
Maybe-
one.
Yeah, I just think.
Maybe
it'd be
Jim
worth it.
will mention something tomorrow during his, guest of the day.
I don't have much.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
You know, water and sewer on the weekends, it just so invited.
It says you do.
If I get to go ahead.
Yeah,
and
it's
run it like I used to run it.
It's not on.
I know.
All the city employees, that's never sit there.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's,
Well, that's the challenge.
It is.
Let's be honest about it.
Right.
We're dealing with pets, we're dealing with animals. We all are compassionate, we're caring. But there's reality, what we have capacity to do.
Right.
And so,
Remember, people, to spade and neuter your animals.
and so right now, what we will propose then is Ben and I will work on a job description. We will put an ad together. First, seeing if we can find someone. Understand, we're not gonna be able to pay minimum wage, it's just not gonna happen.
No,
So we'll see what we can find and try to move forward so we can get someone hired hopefully before the end of the month. In the meantime, we'll continue to look at other rescues and avenues that we can use.
and thanks to the current employee that was doing it for as long as he was, cause it's definitely a task.
Yeah.
Okay, Ben, you got enough
Ready?
direction?
Everything's clear, where do you wanna go? Okay. We wanna do department heads first.
Let's do the engineers.
You wanna do engineers first? Okay, you wanna go first, Nick? I saw you come in first.
It's good to do that.
Nice to see you, long time.
They finally got me on the project, Anderson Street, that's what I'm here to give an update on. We started the field work for that. And I'll be leaving and resign, but we haven't got too far, just field work for now. So that's all I got unless you have questions.
Doesn't look like it, as simple as that. All right, Jason.
Yeah.
All right, I think the only big thing is out there, Commerce Court, that ditch and everything done out there now. And detention ponds in, I think it looks nice, waiting for warmer weather to get seeded. Third seeding has been contracted by, Top Grade is the general out there doing work for A1, so they're coordinating with Thurn to kind of get some seeding and everything done out there, but that is complete, and so all the drainage up Commerce Court is going where it was supposed to go.
Okay.
So that's, from a construction standpoint, that's what we got going on right now. So unless there's any other questions.
Oh, my question, is anything going on about the Bitcoin operation? Are they working out there? or-
Their Stager is the contractor, Stager Construction on Dyersville. They've started doing some earthwork out there. I believe, ITC is trying to coordinate getting the substation. That's really the first portion of that needs to happen out there. So that was the first thing that they really needed to do, is kind of get that grading done for that. I know it's in process. I think they started about a week ago. And so beyond that, I don't know much of the specifics on the scheduling out there for Macoka Valley, Sipco, all the folks that are doing their portion of the work, but it is moving forward.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Any more news, as far as, I know it's getting warmer, but it's cold today, as East Main, have they got a start date yet?
Jason?
Last I talked to him, he thought it'd be sometime in May.
In May, okay, that's fair. Yeah, okay. It wouldn't be fun to do it until after school is out, maybe.
Yeah.
You don't wanna have to mess with the school buses, but. Okay, so I know Doug was here really early, so I'll let Doug go first.
Needs to get her.
Yes, it does. Early bird gets the worm.
So I wasn't here last time. I don't think I was off with a little knee issue, so I've got a few things to bring up. We had the storm, the windstorm or whatever it ended up being. So just to give you an update on where we're at with that, we lost, in Terrell Park, we lost two big evergreens. One of them came down and damaged the bleachers at the pool as well as the fence. The other one came down, knocked off a speaker that was on top of the band shell as well as a Wi-Fi antenna. Nothing too major, but the bleachers will get replaced here. I'm gonna order them by the end of the week, about $5,000 for a bleacher replacement, a little bit over 5,000. And then I've got company coming in Friday to finish off the plan for the dog park fencing, and I'm gonna have them take a peek at the pool fence, so we'll get that taken care of. And the stumps have been ground up. We've got a little bit of dirt work to do because they were large root balls that got ground up. A lot of wood chips there that need to get taken care of, but slowly but surely getting that taken care of. We have swim lessons online registration for group swim lessons starts this Wednesday at noon. Those are group lessons, online only. The private swim lessons is in person. That is on May 7th. That's at the Aquatic Center. That day also happens to be May 7th, also happens to be Senior Service Day. It's our annual day where we work with the high school senior class, and we have perform some duties and activities throughout the community in the parks and do some cleanups, wastewater plant some trees, do some mulching, etc. So we'll get probably 150 senior class kids for the morning that day and kind of utilize them, give them some good work experience, and we'll get some jobs done as well. One thing that we came upon last year that is coming up now as we start to open up the parks restrooms. Obviously tomorrow morning's looks like it'll be our last real cold day where we gotta worry about freezing. So then we'll start opening the rest of them up this week, but we've kind of put off the band shell. The plumbing down below the band shell has some
Major.
issues, I guess. We'll just, it's old. It's starting to get to the point where if we crank it on and it goes bad, it may not be able to function. And so I have, Chad and JJ and myself met with Brian Egan last fall. And so I just called him again today. He's gonna give me what he thinks will be an idea of what it would cost to get that up and going. And then, I'll come back with an idea of what it'll cost, but old pipes, old structure, old facility. Chad has cobbled quite a bit of it together over the years and made it work, but, he's getting more and more, concerned with each turn of the wrench. So that'll be coming, here hopefully soon. So be able to look out for that. And then also on the more of the good news train here, we have, talked about the parks truck. And so the park truck has been ordered, and the truck that we have, the older truck that we're keeping has a transmission issue, so we may or may not be looking at replacing the transmission. Jason spoke with, today, there's possibly good news, but, or at least better news, but.
DJ's had it out there and they were diagnosing it. They couldn't get it to act up, so DJ and I took it out today. Anyway, he, wanted to call Rundy's and see if there was any updates in the program, so he called Rundy's. And the truck does have some updates and there's a harness that goes in it that could potentially be what the problem is. Hopefully that's the case, because it's a $600 to $800 fix and not transmission of probably $5,000 this year. So it's gonna go there Thursday, they'll plug into it, diagnose it, and see if that's potentially the problem. So
How many miles are on that truck?
74, I think.
74,000, yeah.
So fingers crossed.
Yeah.
To be continued with that. And then just a quick update on the dog park. The concrete has been finished pouring, at least for the sidewalk. There's a few foundations that need to be poured for the shade structures, signage and donation box. That'll come here soon. Ray Phillipson and American Pumping, they donated use of the telebelt last Friday to get that done, so we thank him for that. It looks good. Like I said, I'll be meeting with the fence company on Friday. They're gonna get their final plan on how many posts need to get plated on top of that sidewalk. Then hopefully come back again the end of the week and get the fence put in. We'll get the signs up, get the water fountains installed. The shade structures will still be probably 4 to 6 weeks out. Sometime in June is what we're hoping for, but at least we'll have the foundation ready, the ground sleeve in, so we can pop that in when we get there. And then just a little bit of tuning up of the parking lot, and then we're basically ready to go outside, making sure the ground is level along the sidewalk, trying to get everything cleaned up and prettied up and opened up for all the moss to hit the grass and the ground. I guess the one last thing is, I don't have it officially ready to go, but I'm just telling you that the Kids League, of the three, there's 3 Kids League, well, there's 4 Kids League fields, but it would be the southeast field, this G&B field at the complex. The Kids League is going to resurface that sometime after the baseball season is over with, so most likely it'll be late July or early August. They have acquired a quote from Eric Ogden and Ogden Turfgrass that they're gonna resurface the infield, essentially laser graded, so it drains better. It's about a $13,000 cost to redo that, redoing the bases, redoing the foul poles, getting everything down to 1 home plate. Currently it has 2 home plates because high school and Little League uses it, so we're gonna meet in the middle to get 1 home plate. They had, I will submit it officially, but they had asked for a contribution from the city, if, no specific amount, but if the city and the council agrees to provide any sort of funding for that, they would be appreciative, and I'll have something in there, for you here coming up. But yeah, no specific, they're gonna do it one way or another, but again, just hoping they're just looking for ways to try to offset some of the $13,000 cost.
Okay, I have a question.
Yep.
The concrete that's been poured at the dog park, do the dog park funds strip that? or-
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
Anything else?
Question for you, Doug. After the bathrooms that we haven't had to deal with them at the shelter. But they are old and we keep having problems with van shelter. At the
Van
van
shelter.
shelter,
Oh, van
restrooms,
Yep.
pipes are getting bad. I don't like to spend money, but man, to see a new restroom.
The
up in that
restrooms
park-
really aren't that bad in that one. They're not terrible. We redid them about 15 years ago. It's hard to remember, but it used to have the doors on the backside on the north side of the building, and that's when we were getting all the trouble. They were kind of hidden back behind there. There was a whole lot of vandalism going on. Not to say there isn't still vandalism. It's an area that is kind of hidden. You can go back behind there, behind the pool, behind the band shell and kind of hide out a little bit. We've been fairly lucky recently. It hasn't been too bad. The restrooms themselves are not that bad. Go inside them at some point in time. They're better than some of the other ones. But they're, like Baum Park is the one it would be the worst.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so the outdoor one at Seabird is in worse condition as well. I don't necessarily think they need a complete overhaul. Most of the problems are unseen. They're below ground, in the walls, underneath. The fixtures themselves are pretty decent. The floor is pretty decent. We do have a couple issues with some partitions, but we've cobbled those together because partitions are really expensive, outrageously expensive. So I'm not necessarily to the point where I think it needs to be redone. I'd rather put that towards other restrooms first, but the problems, the plumbing, the piping issues, those are top of priority.
We have Chad, we have Perry, they'll fix it.
Not a lot of fixing back. There's no threads left on most of the pipes that there's.
Really?
It's-
If you want a tour of the dungeon, let us know. We'll take you down there. It's kind of fun down there.
I don't know if I want to.
That's really not.
Any other questions for Doug?
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks, Doug.
Okay. We'll go with Tim. I'm just sitting over there all by your own self.
I don't have a whole lot for you. A1 is setting steel columns for posts and the steel for the roof, so that's back on schedule again. RMC is starting moving dirt from the parking lot up there. They're putting in a new parking lot and then eventually an addition on the backside of the hospital. West Schulte has finished his third salt pipe and he started the fourth and last one at 11,000 West Marion address. Jason's already mentioned the point here, so that's all I got. Unless you guys have a question.
Thank you. Okay, let's do, Jason, go ahead.
Like Doug mentioned, we've been out at Dog Park, finish a couple foundations out there tomorrow. Drilling in for the sleeves for the canopies and have that knocked out. We're still getting a lot of sewer work done, planning on Tuesdays and Thursdays with Matt, from the wastewater plant. I got a water patch on North Second Street and we'll have all of Chad's water leak spots fixed after that, and I plan on getting that this week. The asphalt projects, like we touched on, was East Main. That is, there was tentatively saying, May. He didn't give me a hard date, but we're actually have 4 other spots that Kleesner's, got the quotes for. And so we'll have to sit down and figure that out. I think we're leaning towards New Street, after school gets out.
And that'll come to the council.
Yeah, and that'll be, once we decide or get it squared away, we're exactly where we're going with that. We finished up, the utility poles in the parking area of the ball complex today. And that's about all I guess I got. So if anybody's got anything for me.
Any questions for Jason?
When will we see the new street sweeper demo?
Next week, yep, and I'll shoot you guys all a message again like I did last time. I think it's at 7 next Tuesday, but I'll confirm and let you guys know.
That's on the 15th.
I believe it's 15th, yep, I'll confirm for sure, Connie, it's either Tuesday or Wednesday, but he was jockeying between those 2 days, but I think it's Tuesday. I'll shoot you. 7 a.m. is what, yeah.
I have to get out of bed early when we go.
I'm calling in on my way to work.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, Allison.
This week is National Library Week. So tomorrow, I mean, there's a thing for every day, but tomorrow is National Library Workers Day, so we'll be celebrating that this week. Just kind of an update, our teen advisory board they're having their last meeting on May 7th. It is a group, it kind of depends on the week, but I usually have between 9 and 13 kids that come to that. Again, the last meeting, they planned 3 programs this year. They did a multi-generational Taylor Swift program, which had 60 people come to. They had a kindergarten through 3rd grade dinosaur program, which had 45 kids come to it. And they have an escape room on the 16th that they planned for teens. And so that will happen yet. They did prepare some promotional materials for next fall already, so that they can kind of get some new people in. And they also help plan for summer reading by giving me some ideas for little trinkety type prizes. We do a lot of prizes from the businesses around here, such like coupons and stuff. So I have Hardee's ones, we get Dairy Queen, we get Burger King and all those, and the kids really like those, so. I will, be having open house on the 21st, from 5 to 6. I do have invitations that I'll pass out to each one of you. And it's going to be to unveil our strategic plan that we finalized in February. And so we're just want to share that with the public and share it with anybody who is interested with that. I will just have a short little speech about kind of how that process went and what it looks like for us at the library at 5:30. So everybody is welcome for that. I will be developing a new full-time job title and job description to replace the librarian who resigned to move to another full-time job somewhere else. I will be advertising within the next week or so with a potential, and I'll also add a potential circulation clerk position just in case somebody from within would like that. Then I can just move forward because it's getting close to summer and we really need to be full staffed by summer. So the process would be for sure this full-time position, which that's what we'll be replacing, the 35-hour position. And then it would be possible circulation clerk as well. And we would just use that if somebody within needed, took that position. So I don't have any idea what their plans are, but I want to put it out there for that. So we can just move right through and get staffed before hopefully the end of May, so that we can get training in and things like that before we proactive. So, yeah. Does anybody have any questions?
For the positions you're hiring, that doesn't come to us, does it? Like, so we wouldn't be interrupting.
Nope.
You'll just approve the salary resolution.
So yeah, I do the hiring, but then I will,
Your board.
and the job description, all that, I will share that with the board on Thursday when I have my board meeting, just so that they know what I'm planning on doing and changing, and things like that. And then, when it comes time to, do the hiring, then they would approve the salary. Yeah.
Any further questions for Allison?
Thanks. I'll hand these up.
Here.
Right there.
All right.
You know, a piece of paper.
I'll bring one for next week.
You're not.
I said anybody is welcome.
I guess something about, 3 weeks ago, we did get our lab inspection and we passed that, so we are now certified with the state again for 2 more years. We're on lab testing. Finishing up a few repairs on the UV, that the broken parts that we got in the last shipment showed back up, so we'll finish that up and run a test sample just to the lab, just to make sure all the repairs did what we were hoping they would do. EES will be here. We have one more blower motor that the bearings run out of, so we need to have that sent in to Cedar Rapids to have the bearings replaced in that. I guess they're all 15, 16 years old now. That's 2 of the 4, so that'll be a regular occurrence for a little bit, I'm afraid. So other than that, Whitewater Park bathrooms will be turned on Thursday. Not sure about the drinking fountain and the outside showers yet, with the colder nights, but mud valve will be finished. I promise Doug it'll be finished in a week, so it'll be done. And with that, we will turn our attention to when Memphis free. It's time to start getting the pool ready, because we will be filling that in 3 weeks. So we're focusing a lot of time up there. The boys got all the lift stations cleaned last week, so that's about a month ahead of schedule with the nicer weather, so that's a good thing to have out of the way. The camera trailer was ordered shortly after the last council meeting. It's scheduled to be delivered by the 15th of July. So hopefully, he was hoping by the 1st, but that's pushing him, so he has to run to Indianapolis and pick it up, so hopefully we'll see that soon. Setup traps are done. We're just getting a good start on grease traps, so we'll hope to have them finished here in the next 2 or 3 weeks. I know there's some new businesses in town that we need to get in and do some initial inspections on yet, so I'll probably go and do those. But other than that, just a whole lot of spring stuff right now, so unless anybody's got any questions. I will touch base a little bit on Conelect. I let City Hall staff know, but there are a ton of locates out for Conelect right now. They're doing West Butler, West Howard, West Union this week. They'll get into Circle Drive yet towards the end of this week and finish that up. And then from there, they're going down Sealy and doing the entire Tanglewood subdivision. So if anybody's asking, or if you hear of any issues that we're having with yards not getting fixed and stuff like that, just let Jason or I know, and we'll get with Luke from Commonwealth. They're really good at.
Did something happen going under the railroad tracks in Brewer?
MediaCom was running a new conduit to get under the tracks
They had some issues.
because the other one collapsed.
Was that what happened?
There's a bit and some of the piping stuck under the tracks at 15 foot. They tried to pull it out with a wrecker. Kept moving the wrecker, so they hooked the dump truck to the wrecker, so they gave up. It's just gonna be buried there. They'll probably have to reshoot that again at some point, but they got into something down there and.
Okay.
They got repairs doing around.
Yeah, I know, yeah. Yeah,
But-
so,
Just too deep to dig that close to our track.
Yeah,
So we have to
I was
go with
wondering.
Plan B or something.
Railroad tracks always cause a problem, it seems like.
So, yeah, but there will be just a ton of locates on a lot of people's yards and a lot of flags, so. If you're getting complaints, Commonwealth's really good about pulling flags when they are done, but if you get any complaints on yard repairs or stuff like that, just let us know, we'll take care of them right away.
Perfect.
Alrighty?
Perfect, thank you. Any other questions for Peter? Chad?
Well, spring, so we're gonna start working on Doug's parks. We're, there's some other issues popping up with putting things back together. Winter's hard on those things when they sit empty. So there'll be some repairs that'll pop up there. There's some meters that need replaced in the parks. Like I mentioned, one for the pool and the one for the ball complex is not working either. So those are some hurdles that we're gonna have to jump through and figure out how we're gonna pay for those meters. They're rather expensive, so don't get mad at me when I come back with those numbers. Other than that, like I said, it's spring, so we got everybody out doing all kinds of fun construction jobs out there, so about dealing with curb stops and leaky plumbing and remodeling jobs, that kind of stuff. But we're looking to get the rest of the parks on, and then we'll get the valve turning machine back on. Hoping by the end of this week or the next week, and you'll see us all spinning valves again. That's just been a lot of spring maintenance. Getting ready for
for summer. Any questions?
We are doing something with the fire hydrants in this year? Yes, before repainting,
Well, that's,
The budget.
yeah, when's that supposed to start? I mean,
well, if it's approved.
Okay.
Budget,
okay, oh, I know we talked about it, so, because I know the firemen are supposed to be having their things.
Next year.
It's next year, okay, I keep thinking it's in 25, because in 26. Okay, thank you. All
but
right,
we're looking at that, if it's approved, that'd be in July.
in July, okay.
Most communities with their water towers, they don't want them down during peak,
Right,
so peak seasons.
makes sense,
So then they can kind of get slow, so they try to rotate through here
okay,
and get those done. And then at that time, we probably do if everything's approved, we'll do the William Street Tower. We'll get that cleaned and inspected, and then there's a couple paint spots on the outside that need painted up, but
okay,
we'll kind of coordinate that all together. So that's all done
okay,
prior to the big convention.
okay.
William Street's where we just put that new roof too, right?
Yep.
On the building, so that'll look real nice then if that all happens.
Yeah, so William Street, most of that's just a power washing job,
Right.
and then there's just a couple little spots like this big that need to be addressed as far as the water tower is concerned.
All right, any further questions for Chad? Thank you, Chad. Ben, are you the last one? We started with and we're gonna end with, do you have anything else?
I really don't have too much else for you, it's just, we're getting a lot of calls already, I'm getting a lot of calls about rides and events and stuff like that, wanting control and traffic control and permissions and stuff like that, so. It's coming, and that, just business as usual, so I don't really have anything new right now, we're just kind of in the days, like I said last time, it's picking up all around for us, so.
Okay. Erin, do you have anything?
We started the transition to ADP. Everybody started this weekend, Sunday and today, for the most part, clocking in and out on it. The first payroll that'll be done on ADP or by ADP will be the one that gets paid on April 25th. So Julie and I have been, it's been interesting. I think it's gonna be a really nice system once we get it up and running. It's just the little growing pains with transitioning. At some point, I'll let the council know you will need to set up an ADP account. I'm gonna get the staff that were having to clock in and out all up and running first before I move to you. What you'll need it for is that's where you will get your pay statement, and then also your W-2s will come through that ADP account. So, but I will give you notice when we are gonna send you out that email so you know what it is.
How do you guys like it so far?
Good.
I've actually played with it quite a bit. It's fairly user friendly, so it's not as bad as it first appears to be.
Just a little change.
Did you help Chad?
I just haven't looked at it.
Oh,
I forgot all about it on Sunday, so fix that. You can, and I,
No, you should have access now.
That's back to wastewater.
I fixed that.
Primary, so it's all good.
yeah, I'm sure it's fine.
Tim,
Board Docs was bought out by Diligent Solutions a couple years ago. They have notified us that Board Docs will cease operations at the end of our contract, which I think is February of 2026.
Oh.
We will have to transition either to Diligence Community. This is a program, it's a little different than what Board Docs is, but it's their version of it, or we'll have to look at another software program to do our agenda packets. So I'm working through with them to see what the change is in software prices and what it will take for us to. But that will occur before the end of this year, so just know we're working on that right now. We've been with Board Docs for 14 years.
please.
Well, with the Diligent, will our past history stay?
Yes.
If we come over, because there's so much, so
It'll populate. It'll bring it on.
much history
Yeah.
we have there.
Yep.
I need to lose that.
And the community solution is very nice to work with. Now, I gotta find out what the cost is going to be, because we could have done a lot of this with Board Docs, but there was a huge price difference between what we had with the late version versus the fully uploaded version.
Gotcha.
So we'll see what that transition price is going to be and whether or not we really need to look at a different option.
Okay.
I asked you guys to review the comp plan RFQ. I've not heard anything back from anybody. If you would please review that, so I can get that out, so we can work through the process of going through that, selecting an engineering firm or a firm to update our comp plan, because again, in the last 15 years, there's been so many changes from what we initially thought. So what's going on right now, we want to update that. Along with that, I'm preparing a request for qualifications on the West Marion Street Bridge to send that out, because we have bidding documents in order for us to provide that with engineering. We'll request qualifications for engineering firms to do that. On a follow, we had our strategic planning session back in December. I met with Mickey Shields at the conference 2 weeks ago. I'd like to do a follow-up with him. I'll do that in May, and then I'd like to bring the council back together so we can complete the strategic planning, get some goals, stipulate it and moving forward. And I'd like to do that in June. So if there are some dates that work better for you, or dates I need to avoid, I'd prefer you let me know in June. Because I do think that's going to be, again, another 3-hour meeting with the council, Mickey and myself, as we try to get things wrapped up so we can get planning again then for next fiscal year.
There's 5 Mondays in June, so maybe we could pick one of them and just have another board meeting or council meeting.
Council meeting, that would be fine with me. So if you would look at your schedules and let me know.
Let me be here.
It'll be here. And that's really it. I appreciate the time off and the fact that staff left me alone. Was able to unwind a little bit and relax, so I'm here and ready to go again.
So this is when we start pouring it back on you.
And they have.
Brian, did you have anything?
No.
Linda? Nope, I'm not. Mary Ann? Nothing. Jeff?
I just want to thank Officer Hall for what he did recently with the young child. When I heard about that kind of hit close to home, so I'm glad he was able to.
We'll be recognizing him on April 28th. Yeah. And Bill?
Randy Rattenberg caught me, had to leave. They were hoping to try to do another, prescribed burn if it isn't too windy and everything doesn't get away. Otherwise, he said nothing new at the firehouse. Just an update for city council, up to 41 calls because of all the grass fires. So,
You said last Friday.
so, yeah, other than that, nope, I had nothing.
Okay, well, before everybody leaves. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear you. Happy birthday to you. There's cupcakes and cake balls, help yourself. I have a couple things. We have a boards and commissions meeting on, award night on the 16th. That's at 4:30 to 6 at the fire station, so mark that on your calendar. I will be attending the Iowa Rural Vitality meeting with Donna Boss and Ames on Thursday, so I will not be around. I know there's a couple meetings going on that day. I talked to Tim about already. And I have an ECIA meeting. We'll be doing the new director on Tuesday night. Other than that, I have nothing else to add. I'll take, oh, Chad, yes.
I forgot to mention, we had our DNR inspection.
Yeah.
So, you should see a letter from the DNR.
Okay.
It's sent to you
Okay,
on whatever they came up with,
okay,
but
all right.
5 hours of fun stuff. And so it all seemed to go well, so later.
Okay, good.
So that warn you.
Okay, appreciate that. I'll make sure we get that to you. Oh, and the other thing is on the April 28th meeting, we will be having several, we have an accommodation we'll be doing, and there's gonna be another special award that night too. So those will all be coming as well. With that, I'll take a motion from Mary Ann and a second from Linda that we are adjourned, and we are adjourned. Everybody have a wonderful evening. Thank you.